Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Is your healthcare practice AI ready? I'm glad you're here, and I want to make sure that we use your time well. So let's get into it. To start, my name is Oliver Blanco. I'm a digital marketing and account manager here at RepuGen. RepuGen is a HIPAA-compliant reputation management platform just built specifically for healthcare practices in helping them collect patient reviews, manage their online presence, and understand what patients are saying across platforms. In my role, I specifically work with practices across different specialties. And over the past year or so, the conversations that I've been having with a lot of my clients have shifted significantly because the way that patients find healthcare providers nowadays is changing. And that's what we're here to talk about. But a couple of quick housekeeping rules or notes, I should say. This session is being recorded, so you'll receive the link afterwards, after the presentation. And if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the Q&A section, or feel free to reach out to us after the presentation, and we'll make sure that someone addresses them with you directly. So to start off, here's what we'll cover. We'll start with the shift in how patients are searching, what's changed, and what the data shows. Then we'll look at how AI actually evaluates your practice, what signals it reads online, and or where, I should say, most practices have gaps in that. From there, we'll talk about a little concrete action plan, and then we'll close up with that Q&A section. So let's start with what's actually happening in how patients search for uh, healthcare providers. The core question this entire session is built around is when a patient uses AI to search for a provider like you, do you show up and do you show up well? That's not a hypothetical anymore. It's just happening right now in this day and age of 2026. A few data points to ground this. According to a McKinsey's 2025 research, 50% of consumers are now intentionally using AI-powered search tools for major decisions. They're not just stumbling into them, they're actively choosing them. And when we look specifically at healthcare, we conducted our own study and found that close to 40% of patients are already using AI tools to find those healthcare providers. We asked patients directly, in the past year, have you adopted any new internet-based tools for researching healthcare providers, such as AI tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity? And then that's where the chart on the right-hand side showed the results. And that, as you can see, 51% is not a small early adopter group. It's the majority of patients that are being surveyed. And the 42% who said no, they're still encountering AI search results every time that they open Google, whether they realize it or not. This is just a part of the entire patient experience now. And then to put a finer point on that number, our study shows that 51% have adopted AI or internet-based tools for researching healthcare providers. And again, that's the majority. What's significant about this implication is that since more than half of your potential patients are using these tools when they're searching for a healthcare provider and your practice isn't showing up or isn't showing up well, then you're losing out on those prospective patients before they ever contact you. Not because of anything clinical, but just because of how you appear online. And now here's another number that I think really sharpens the picture. Among patients who have already adopted AI tools, 57% of their provider research is now happening through AI and not Google. To be clear, though, Google isn't going away. Google is always going to be king. But what this tells us is that for a significant and growing share of your prospective patients, their first impression of your practice is now being shaped by what AI says about you before they've ever clicked on a Google search result. AI search results are directly just influencing patient trust and provider selection. And then you can see from the data on this side, on the right-hand side, 52.8% of patients say that they trust AI search results for healthcare decisions. Nearly 46% say they're likely to rely on AI search even more going forward. And this is a channel that's worth growing and one your practice needs to be visible on. So now I want to be direct about something because I think it's important to give you an accurate picture rather than an overhyped one. Google local search is not going away. For high intent local questions or queries, such as like say cardiologist near me or pediatrician accepting new patients, Google's Map Pack and local pack search results are still where most appointment bookings will happen. That's still true today, and it's likely to remain true for the foreseeable future. What has changed is that AI overviews now appear above those local search results on Google. So patients are seeing an AI generated summary before they reach the local pack. But the key insight on this slide is that the signals feeding Google local search and the signals feeding AI recommendations are largely the same pieces of information. NAP, or otherwise known as name, address, and phone number, consistencies across directories such as Google Business Profile or on your Facebook profile, LinkedIn, things like that. Uh, but in addition to that, review volume, review recency, and just structured data on your website. A patient journey now often looks like this, for example. A patient looks up or searches something on AI, then AI mentions a practice with strong reviews, and they a patient validates that on Google, and the Google's local pack confirms that credibility. And then after that, if they feel that your practice is strong enough, they will book that appointment. So the key here is to win on both AI and Google search results. And the good news about all of that is that they largely, or they work largely in overlap. Now, this slide is from Gallup and West Health's 2026 research. And it's one I find particularly useful because it reframes what AI search in healthcare actually looks like in practice. 59% of patients are asking AI about nutrition and exercise advice. Uh, and then 58% about physical symptoms. More than half go to AI before they even call a doctor. 46% of those same patients are researching medication side effects before their appointment, and then 38% are doing uh, diagnose research. The key insight at the bottom of this slide is worth reading carefully, though. These are not just health questions. They are doctor discovery questions. A patient who asks AI about symptoms of a particular condition may receive, in the same response, a recommendation for the type of specialist that they should see. A patient whose website addresses these topics credibly and clearly is more likely to be cited in that recommendation than one that doesn't. So overall, your website content isn't just for search rankings, it's part of what AI reads to understand whether your practice is credible and relevant to that patient's search query. Now, this slide introduces a concept called zero-click discovery. And once you understand it, a lot of the practical recommendations become very clear. In traditional search, a patient types a question or a query, gets a list of links, they click through, and they evaluate options. In AI search, though, a patient asks a question and gets a synthesized answer, sometimes including a provider recommendation without clicking on anything. The decision is basically being shaped before they even visit a single website. So, with that in mind, what puts you in that answer? Four things, according to what the evidence supports. First, claim and complete every directory listing out there online, or as much as you can. Google Business Profiles, Health Grades, ZocDoc, WebMD, Yelp, you name it. AI cross-references all of them. So missing profiles are a potential gap in your credibility signal. And again, just make sure that your NAP information or name, address, and phone number are identical everywhere. Even small discrepancies matter because that's how Google and AI determine whether you are credible or not. Second, build content on your website that directly answers patient questions. FAQ pages or condition pages, blog posts, things of that sort. This gives AI something that your own website can that they can use to cite. And then third, add schema markup. Local business, physician, medical organization schema make it significantly easier for AI to accurately understand and represent your practice. And then fourth, generate fresh, specific reviews consistently and frequently. AI favors that recency and specificity over volume alone. And then now, section two, how AI actually reads and evaluates your practice. Andrew Warden, the CMO of SEMrush, he put that well. AI favors firsthand experience, specificity, and continuously refreshed discussions. That one sentence is essentially the framework for everything in this section. So, signal one, review volume and recency. Again, AI models prefer a consistent, ongoing stream of fresh reviews, not a burst of reviews from, say, 6 months ago or a year ago. Just a steady cadence each month. Platforms including Healthgrades, Google, and ZocDoc are among those AI actively searched queries. Reviews that have gone stale are kind of a negative signal, not a neutral one. Signal two, specificity of language. A review that says, great doctor, for example, gives AI almost nothing to extract. But a review that mentions a specific procedure, a staff member by name, and an outcome gives AI named entities, themes, and trust signals it can actually use. And that specificity is the signal. Signal three, cross-platform consistency. AI cross-references Healthgrades, Google, ZocDoc, WebMD, all of those different listing sites. Missing profiles or conflicting information reduces the likelihood of a recommendation on AI. Presence and consistency across platforms is a credibility indicator. So that's why it's so important to make sure that your NAP information is consistent, because even those small discrepancies will throw AI and throw Google's algorithms off. And then signal four, provider response behavior. Responding to review signals active engagement. Our data shows that nearly 60% of patients trust providers more when reviews are responded to. An unanswered review isn't neutral, it's just a missed trust signal for both patients and AI. And so a question that comes up often is, does this mean everything that we've done for SEO is now irrelevant? Uh, the answer is no, but the rules have evolved and most practices are still operating under those old rules. In traditional SEO or search engine optimization, one strong backlink from an authoritative domain could move rankings. In AI search, what's increasingly being called GEO, or I think it's pronounced generative engine optimization, what carries weight is a high volume of authentic, specific patient reviews, not one backlink, consistent, credible voices. Traditional SEO rewarded keyword density. AI search rewards natural language and genuine patient experience. Domain authority signals matter most for Google rankings, but for AI, cross-platform consistency and presence matters most. And on-page structure and metadata helped with Google, but now user-generated content and discussions help with AI. And so one important note on the pace of change, AI models update roughly every, I think it was 17 days, according to Perplexity's own data. This is a dynamic environment, so it rewards ongoing attention, not just a one-time optimization from your team. So now let's move on to section 3, the visibility gap. What are most practices getting wrong right now? Gap 1 is stale or sparse reviews. Only 25% of patients leave a review without being prompted. This means that three-fourths or about 75% of your satisfied patients are completely silent online. Not because they had a poor experience though, but it's because no one just asked them to leave a review. So if you're not systematically requesting reviews after every visit, the majority of your positive experiences are just invisible to AI. Now, number 2 is a no response strategy. Every unanswered review is a mistrust signal. Our research found again that nearly 60% of patients trust a provider more when reviews receive a response. Inconsistent or absent responses just signals disengagement to patients and AI. Number 3 is a platform gap. So again, a strong Google presence alone isn't enough anymore. AI looks up health grades, WebMD, Facebook, ZocDoc, the list goes on and on. So missing or incomplete profiles on any of those platforms reduces your citation frequency, even if your Google profile is excellent. And it's number 4, vague review language. Again, great doctor is the example I used before. It just gives AI nothing actionable. So if you get a review that has specific things such as staff names or outcomes about how the patient felt, that is what AI uses to understand and then eventually recommend your practice. Generic reviews just often contribute very little signals. Then number 5 is no structured practice information. So no FAQs, no schema markup, no service descriptions on your website means that AI has to rely entirely on third-party platforms to represent you. So when you don't control that information, the representation of that might not be accurate. So now let's talk about what you can do. Here's a little phased action plan across 3 timeframes. Now, what you can start this week is first audit your reviews across Google, HealthGrades, ZocDoc, and WebMD, for example. Not just your star rating though. Look at how recent those reviews are, how specific they were, and what percent of those reviews have a response. RepuGen does have a free tool called RepuTally that can give you a great base scorecard across all of those major platforms in minutes. That way you can start off on that audit. Second is to start a systematic post-review or post-visit review request. So just simply sending a text or email fairly soon after a patient's visit could work. That timing window just matters though, within like say the first 24 to 48 hours. The experience is still fresh and in that patient's mind and response rates are significantly higher. Then thirdly is to respond to those reviews, whether it's positive or negative. Consistency here is more important than perfection in those responses. Then in the next 30 days, you can coach patients on what to include in their reviews. So maybe after an appointment, one sentence in the review request can point point your patient towards mentioning the specific care that they received or a staff member who helped them, as it can help transform a generic rating into a specific AI readable account. And then also complete and verify all directory listings for NAT consistency and add FAQ sections to your website. Then what you can do on an ongoing basis is just track your review volume and recency as a standardized business KPI for yourself. Monitor your patient sentiment trends on a monthly basis, for example, and then treat reputation as an operational infrastructure, not just a marketing campaign. These practices these practices build durable AI visibility, and those practices that do that are the ones that approach this consistently, not reactively. So that is pretty much it for today's presentation. And let's bring it together with the 6 key takeaways. 1, AI search is reshaping how patients find providers. 51% of patients have adopted these tools, and 57% of those are conducting provider research through AI, not Google. And that is happening now. Number 2, Patient reviews are AI's primary input. Volume, recency, specificity, and response behavior are the four signals that matter most. Number three, patients are asking AI health questions before they even call into your practice. So practices whose website addresses those topics credibly are more likely to be recommended on AI. Four, most patient complaints are operational, not clinical. Front desk interactions, wait times, and billings are the most common drivers of negative reviews, and all of them are addressable by your team. Five, AI visibility cannot be manufactured. Consistent, genuine patient experiences is the only durable strategy that you can implement on a consistent basis. And then number six, again, is consistent review responses. Those help build trust and contribute to AI recognition. Every response is a signal of accountability to patients who read them and to the systems that weigh them. All right, so since that is the end of the presentation, I will just leave it up to some Q&A at this point. All right, I did get one message. It says, how do I know if I'm searching or, sorry, I misread that. How do I know if I'm showing up in AI search results? And that's a good question. The main thing to do is just to test it directly. You can open up, say, for example, ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, Gemini, any or all of them, and just search for a provider in your specialty, in your local area. So, like, say, for example, in your city, and be sure to use a phrase just like how a patient would phrase it. See what comes up. And then for a more structured picture, again, you can feel free to reach out to RepuGen and run a free RepuTally audit as it shows your review health across all of those major platforms. All right, I got another question that says, how many reviews do I need? So there is no universal threshold, but what we found is that a minimum of, say, 50 recent and specific reviews with a consistent monthly cadence again, um, or cadence of new ones, I should say, those position a lot of our clients really well. Recency and specificity is what matters most rather than the total count. All right, and then I did receive another question. Material from research raises your credibility. Uh, if you would like, I can send you directly our research that we did regarding patient behavior with AI search results after this meeting or after this webinar to you via email, or you feel free to search it up on our website as we do post all of our research online. All right. I think that is all of the questions. If there are any other questions, again, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help answer any questions. But what comes next, again, feel free to reach out and run your free RepuTally audit, see where your health, review health across every major healthcare platform so that you can identify gaps and get a grade-based scorecard. If you want to check out RepuGen, feel free to schedule a one-on-one walkthrough and we'll show you how to build that consistent reputation that earns patient trust and AI visibility. Or if you want to get started with something with very low commitment, you can try out a Review Pulse free plan for 3 months, built for practice ready to, again, take AI visibility search seriously with no commitment required. And then if you, again, do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Either call us at 866-246-7891. or feel free to email us at info@repugen.com. Or if you do want to do your own research, feel free to check us out on our website, www.repugen.com, and that's where you can find a lot of our research or any additional information. But yeah, thank you so much, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day.